Hello, everybody. Welcome to TokiTV and our Sunday gathering. We have some really fun and exciting stuff to talk about and listen to today. So let's do some check-ins. And how are you today, Deb Cruz?
Yeah. Doing okay, trying to enjoy the warmer weather, but it's kind of hard when it gets that warm.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. Yep, it's hot. And how about you, Ma? How are you today?
All good here, thanks. But hot.
Super hot. I think it's hot everywhere, right?
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's not hot and he's not hot.
Oh,
So that's nice. And how about you, Deborah? How are you today?
I'm really good. Yep, the world is on fire. Welcome to the TokiTV show, Pierre. It's so good to see your most handsome face and wonderful accent again today, and just excited to hear what you're going to share, what a whole bunch of other people already seem to know about these beings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. Now my birds are going to start screaming. And how about you, Annette? Because you're going to introduce Pierre, right?
Yeah, I'm good now. It took a little while to get everything situated here. We're having some tech issues today, so Howard is joining and attempting to join. So Howard, if you hear me, I sent it to like everything. I sent the link to your email, to your phone, to message. So he should be on here any minute. But I'm good. I'm really excited to have Pierre on here today, or all the time, actually, every time he can join us. But he's been up to something really cool. And I don't know if you guys does anyone not know Pierre? I think we all know Pierre, but he's the founder of USEA, president of Orcas San Frontieres. I don't know if I'm going to say that right. He's a world-class expert, orca expert, TEDx speaker, specialized on underwater close encounters with orcas, and he was the first man who snorkeled with orcas in water wearing a thin 5mm water suit. Pierre, I'm so excited to have you with us. I think let's check in with you, and then we'll start talking about the project. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. And thank you for introducing me in this way. I will also say what I am not, to be totally clear and transparent with your guest. I am everything you said, but I'm also not a marine biologist. Don't have a marine biologist PhD. Okay, I am a scientist, actually. I've been working in different labs for 40 years, human biology, veterinary biology, and pesticides. But again, I'm not a marine biologist. I don't want to take a place which is not mine. Okay, so you have to know before I'm speaking about all this project, this fact. Okay, so let's go.
That sounds awesome. Well, let me. I took this from your Facebook page, so I'm going to share this, or actually from your YouTube page. I'm going to share this with you guys, and then we'll start talking about it. All right. What is this, Pierre? We're so excited to know.
Yeah, this is an idea that popped up in my mind many years ago after a sound experience with humpbacks and orcas. And this is what decided me to explore the sound of orcas and to I try to understand this the effect of the sound this sound can have. You know, when you swim with orcas, you feel great. This is a feeling that you have that despite you are swimming in very cold water, in very difficult condition, you don't feel cold or pain or fatigue, but just a wave of energy that spreads and resonates throughout your body. And this is what I could experience many times, but I didn't pay attention about that for many years. And I had the sound experience one night, the first night when I was trying my hydrophone, and I was totally mesmerized by what I could hear. You know, when you are in the boat floating at the surface, you don't imagine what's happening underneath the surface. And what rose up from the depth was a symphony orchestrated by whales, orcas, and I had the feeling that they were celebrating something. Maybe the northern light that was above because it was at night, and everything take place at that moment. That there is something we were missing something. You know, we don't understand the language of orcas and whales. We know they are communicating with a very high level of and complex communication, but we still don't know what they are speaking with each other. And this fact must tell us something. Means that it's maybe too complex for our brain, for our understanding. So maybe it's a little bit too dark. I'm gonna light up the light. Sorry. This is live streaming.
10 o'clock over there, I think. So I got dark.
Yeah. Okay. Put some light. Sorry for that. Now it's yeah, it's a bit dark here, so it's gonna be more comfortable if you can have more light. And yes, that was an amazing experience, and I had this idea, this feeling. You know, the world of orcas, whales, dolphins, all the cetaceans is a world of understanding and feeling. And I was open to understand what I was feeling, and I wanted to do more. So I had this idea that the feeling, this wellness that you can have when you swim with orcas, it was because of the sound. So this is something that I explored with the people who are joining me during the expedition, and this is something that all the people they say the same. We feel great, and of course, no cold, no fear, no fatigue, no pain. And I have many feedback like this, and I was thinking, if it's coming from the sound, maybe I can share it in another way than just swimming in the same place than orcas and whales. So I tried to understand that which kind of sound was the best, and to emerge the people um, in this sound. And it can be with a speaker headphone topside, or it can be in the swimming pool with the water with an underwater speaker, or it could be also with contact, the vibration, the contact. And what I could notice at that moment is that these sounds, they have a healing effect to the people. So I've been working on this project for many years, and last week on Saturday we had this launch party in Portugal with friends, with my partners, my associate, where we could welcome 45 people and make them try all this what we call the holistic therapy, because it's a holistic therapy based on the sounds. I call this sound the cetacean healing sounds, and we had a great feedback actually, and this is very promising for the future, because this is something that I want to share, and I don't know what will happen, but I believe that we can use this sound and to heal some people. Okay, I'm not saying that it's a miracle and will make people walk, but uh, it's obviously a holistic therapy that is effective to keep health, to keep balance, to keep a good energy, to clean yourself, and to help you in the sleep, for instance, or to reduce the stress. This is kind, let's say, kind of effect that you can observe when you are exposed to these sounds. I think that the cetaceans, the orcas, the whales, and the dolphins, they have learned throughout the evolution how to heal themselves with these sounds. Basically, we tried. Uh, if you think about what was medicine 2,000 years ago, we didn't have the same medicine that with antibiotics, with surgery that saved a lot of lives, and it's very good. The only thing that these people they have 2,000 years ago was shamanism. There was that kind of medicine, and it was quite okay. It was effective, at least better than nothing. And I think that the cetaceans are also able to heal themselves with this sound. My work, what put my effort, was to recognize this sequence, this frequency that have healing effect. Because all the sounds from the cetacean, they are not supposed to heal. Most of them, they are used for communication. But now I have understood the sequences and the frequencies and when to record to use it for a healing effect. Call me crazy. I believe in it. And I hope that I will prove with this project that it's for real, actually. And I would add something, which is that so far, when we are healing ourselves with medicine, with pills, tabulates, and everything, it's coming from laboratories. Even if you are using natural medicine, you are cutting plants. This kind of holistic care, you don't take anything from the nature. It's just based on the sound recorded with the hydrophone, which is totally new and very safe for the nature. And I must say that it's quite effective.
I
Okay, guys, sorry. Did I
No,
lose someone?
we're all very like everyone. This is the right group, right, to talk to about this. I mean, this, I sleep with orca sounds. I sleep,
Oh,
watching live streams. Because it is very healing. And one of the times we talked to you last, we were talking about Toki and how, self-healing, right? How she must be doing some self-healing for herself to be able to
yeah.
be in the situation she was in. And so we were starting to kind of talk about that. And I know you were in the middle of, planning this. So I'm so excited, but let's just go around the room real quick because you're talking to some people here who deal with frequencies. And Ma, is there
Yeah.
something you can say about this?
Oh, so much. Oh, wow. It's so good to hear you speaking about what I know deep down inside me. And it was something that I was born with or passed on to me by my great grandma. Long story short, I've always been able to communicate with animals. And it was always so natural to me. So communicating and getting that frequency and vibration from orca was just absolutely magnificent, to say the least. And their vibration and frequency obviously was so much greater. I worked with Telecom an awful lot, and his vibration and frequency was as you would imagine it to be to start off with. It was very strong, very dominant, and also very not aggressive, but getting to be aggressive. And by the time he passed away, he had completely changed. It was like a role reversal, and he became like a guardian to me. And his frequency knocked me off my feet the first time that I actually met him physically. Toki, her frequency was just, again, as we all know her, gentle, loving, but very, very strong, very caring and very motherly. So for me, talking about frequency and vibration and the work that you're doing is something that I've always believed in, not just with orca, but orcas are way up there, the best of the best. But I believe all animals have this ability, but so do we, and we've just forgotten how to use it.
Thanks, Ma.
Thank you very much.
And Pierre, you've probably spent more time, not probably, from what I know, you know more than anyone else, more time in the water with them. So you don't just hear about it, you feel it, and so for you to be able to bring that to a way for others to experience, I think is wonderful. And we know they heal each other, and to be able to bring that for us, but thank you.
This Setodi project comes from the two words, cetacean, melody, Setodi. This is the origin of the word. And I have the feeling that they are very intelligent, all cetaceans. And I think that someone like Lori Marino, which is a neurobiologist, would speak about that maybe better. But I've been interested by the work she has done. And it's very fascinating, the brain of the orcas, dolphins, and whales, but especially the orcas, because she was specialized in the orcas. And the brain is way bigger than human brain. But it's not only the size, it's also the complexity of the brain, and also the way the brain is built. And the girification index is 3 times higher in the orca brain, means that they have 3 times more gray matter than a human brain. Just imagine the potentiality of this brain in terms of memory, intelligence, everything. So for me, it's not a question about that. These creatures, for millions of years, they have acquired a knowledge we have no idea. And among this knowledge, it's not only the social, behavior or the hunting strategy. But of course, like all the living beings, they want to live longer. They want to cure themselves when they feel they are ill, and they know how to do it. It's not a question about that. So we just have to be open to this. Again, what I did so far cannot be called a clinical trial, randomized or double blind, blah, blah, blah. You know, this methodology is just observation. Um, Again, we are not speaking about healing therapy that will fix a very specific part of very specific illness in a very specific patient. It's a holistic therapy that is helping to balance, to keep the balance of the energy, and to keep you in a good health and well-being. So, and this is to avoid to be sick. So far, this is the way uh, we are working. Okay, so. I'm choosing this word very carefully because, of course, I don't want to make people think that we can fix all the sickness. Of course, not. But for some people, we can help them to keep healthy longer, and which is very good, actually, which is very good. And it's also the reason why we must protect all this what I call the cetacean nation, this brilliant oceanic civilization, because each population has its own knowledge. If we let, for instance, a population such as the southern resident in Sk'aliCh'elh, if we let this population collapse, go to extinction, we are going to lose. We're going to lose this knowledge forever. It's not going to be a way back. You know, they are like First Nation. They don't write their knowledge in a book. They don't fill up a hard drive. It's just the knowledge is transmitted by vocal or verbal language from generation to generation. If this population go to extinction, we're going to lose this knowledge. And I think it's going to be bad and sad for this population, and it's going to be bad also for humanity, because we can use this knowledge if we understand that.
Thank you for talking about that, Howard. What's your response to that? Because we will lose the knowledge if we lose this population, and you love this population and know them more than anyone. What's your response?
First, hi, Pierre. So glad you could join us today.
Hey, nice
Sorry
to meet you again.
late. My
Thank you.
laptop was acting up, but my phone works. I agree and subscribe to every word you said. I really appreciate your whole approach of observation, experience, without limiting to what is published science. We need to expand our understanding by incorporating these experiences, these observations that we can feel, that we can see. And I just think you're right on track to describe how you feel and look at what is the plausible scientific explanation in terms of the brain anatomy, the sound production capabilities, and the mysteries. You know, I long ago read a book called The Structure of Scientific Revolutions by Thomas Kuhn. And it describes how in science we need to be able to assimilate and accommodate real information, real experiences that happen. And if they don't fit the paradigms, then we need to adjust the paradigms. And that can sometimes involve a complete evolution of thought about the way the world works, the way the mind works, the way communications work. And I think we're on the verge of that with orcas. I hope so. I would like to see more, highly regarded, established scientists look into this and help to contribute to theories that accommodate the reality that we see, that we feel. And I think you were in an early TokiTV that you were on. You introduced us to the idea that orcas are able to impart an emotion to us, that we
Right.
feel something from them without sound, even just we feel just by being in their presence. And I think that has great merit and great possibility. It's very difficult to explain or to measure, to talk to very objective scientific people, but um, I see it as you do in there is an explanation in the brain anatomy. We don't know what orcas and other cetaceans, but especially orcas with the largest brains and with the most complexity and girifications, and with that paralimbic lobe that is a complete mystery, but is a more developed evolutionary stage of orca brains that is, it seems to me to help explain their sociality, their cooperation, their seeming to be in touch with each other, even over great distances. And I think this is sort of a frontier of scientific, inquiry to try to figure out, how do they do that? What are the limits? We've got to look beyond the limits that we impose on orcas. We were able to measure that their calls may travel 20 miles, but we've seen evidence that they are able to communicate far beyond that. We just don't know how. And so we need to expand our theories to incorporate what we see and what happens. And I just think that's fascinating, that sounds can heal, that they can, there's no doubt that they can, examine each other, with a sonar kind of, they're looking into their organs and their bodies and their pulsing hearts and everything at all times. And so they're able to identify anything wrong and to be able to focus some kind of energy, sound energy, maybe more than sound energy, maybe more subtle waves, electromagnetic waves,
Wow.
which is how the brain operates. But it doesn't have to just be internally inside each brain. That can be broadcast, that can be delivered. And that may be able to readjust cells in the body that need to heal. I mean, I don't think we're that far from, a good theoretical explanation. But I would love to share with people like you, but others that, like Lori Marino, like others who have a strong scientific foundation, established scientific people, and just go over the possibilities, just sort of compare notes and try to think together, conspire, breathe together, and try to understand, what may really be going on here, because I think it's fascinating, and I think we can learn so much. So I appreciate your contribution to
Thank you
getting
so much,
that
Rob.
point.
Thanks,
Thank you
Howard.
so much.
Someone asked a question kind of similar in some areas, because you said a lot, Howard, and I'll try to get to a point. But somebody asked this question for Pierre. Do you feel vibrations in specific areas of your body, or all over? And what does it feel like? Do you mind to share in your...
It's spreading all over, I swear. And yeah, it's sometimes when you're close, it's so strong that I feel like even if I'm in the very cold water, my blood is burning. I'm just boiling. So it's a very strange feeling actually. And yeah, this is very strong, very strong.
That's
And
awesome.
I would have just a short sentence for Howard to say thank you for this comment, and thank you very much coming from you. It's touching my heart deeply, and also that I've been working in laboratory. I'm not a crazy guy with a crazy idea, and but so far what I can say is that the science of today doesn't have the tools to understand this phenomenon. It's just a question of tool. We have to remember that couple of decades ago, before the invention of the microscope, we couldn't access with our senses to something very small. And we just knew at that moment that some sickness could spread out from people to people when they were too close, without seeing that what we know perfectly today, which is a microbe. But as long as we didn't have the tool to see that, it was out of the human human knowledge, and it was some people sniffing something, and saying, hey, it must be a small living being we don't see. But these people, they were called crazy at that moment. Just have to wait until we had these two. And I guess that when we will have to understand the language of the cetaceans, dolphins, whales, and orcas, if one day we can communicate with them with a tool to translate, then we're going to access to the knowledge, and we're going to access to all of this. But I'm afraid that it's going to take a long time. And these giants in the sea, if we continue to damage the oceans like we are doing right now, they don't have 50 years to survive. I'm afraid that some population will go to extinction. So I don't shame to take some shortcut and to say, okay, we have to go there. We have to follow this and to be open to this. And we'll see. We'll see what will be the truth in 20 years, 30 years. I will not be there to see that, but at least I will be among the people like you guys who are showing this, pointing this direction, and that's okay for me. Wow.
Sorry, my mouse was getting stuck. I'm having some serious computer issues today. And a lot of people, like, there's a lot of people here who are Reiki healers, and I'm a pranic healer, and we do this thing, even just in meditation, like you were saying earlier, you can't say, okay, this is going to heal this specific thing or this specific thing. But like, as something that healers know is that when you bring in energy, you can call that energy to a certain area. So if you're having, let's say, and I know you have to say that, and we should all probably say that, because we can't scientifically prove it. But if you're having a knee problem and you're doing a meditation and you're bringing in this energy, or you're doing healing, I'm assuming it's the same with Reiki and pranic healing, you bring your attention to that area and you kind of direct the energy to that area. And so I'm just curious, and maybe some trials or something in the future, maybe when I get to, experience what you're up to in your project, like maybe there can be some studies in that area as well. Of course, people are looked at as like woo woo, because we can know that in Reiki and we can know that in pranic healing, and people still won't believe it, but you can direct that energy. So if it's vibration and it's healing and it's, we were just talking about recently, Howard brought up, you were one of the first people we talked to about that, but we were talking just the other day about how they can project emotion. Like, you could be there and feel a completely different emotion that's not your own, and that it belongs to them. but they're sharing that with you. So why wouldn't they, why wouldn't they share those healing capabilities too? So I just kind of wanted to call that out when they were asking about the vibrations in certain area. I wonder if we can direct those vibrations to a specific area that might need healing. I think Ma, and I'm not sure, Deborah, if you have something to say about that too. Go ahead, Ma.
Oh, right, okay. From what I've learned, it's about quantum energy and quantum physics, and they're so far ahead of us. And that's how I would scientifically explain it. But my other question is, I've always wondered whether there are certain humans where any research has been done on their pineal gland, their third eye, because there seems to be some of us that can open our pineal glands really quite easily, and others that don't even know it's there. So I wondered whether any scientific research has been done that way.
No, no, it
Oh,
hasn't done
okay.
this way. Not sure.
That's
Okay.
and maybe, we're bringing up Lori a few times. Maybe we should bring her on and
Yeah.
have a good conversation or facilitate a conversation. Maybe if they don't want to do it live at first or whatever, but between Pierre, Howard, and Lori, because I think, we have the scientific, and then you have the experiential, and then you have the social and behavior. All of that has to go together. All of it has to go together, because one is not going to explain the other until there starts to be some cross-referencing and exploration.
This project and what makes my experience today is the mix of the knowledge that I could have from the works of Rory Marino, that I put aside the observation that I did close to orcas for countless hours, where I've been swimming for 25 years every winter, every day, and the feeling that it was bringing to me. So this is what is pushing me in this direction so far. So yeah, and the thing is that as I said, I've been working for 30 years in different labs, and I know that according to the science point of view, what has not been proven is not true, and this is the way it works. Okay, for the science, if you have not proved something, a phenomenon, it doesn't exist. It's not true, and I am in the different perspective, and my perspective is let's say coming from curiosity. What is not proven is to be proven one day. What is not proven yet, maybe one day we're going to understand. And we have to be open. Okay, so this is the way I'm following right now. So and it's not. This is why I cannot be in the science way with clinical trials, with tests, and making a placebo. It's not something that I can do simply because I don't see how I can make a placebo with the orca sound and saying to people that the engine of the noise of the engine is the orca sound and using as a placebo. You understand that it's not possible to do something like this. So this methodology can be applied for many, many topics in the medicine, but not in the holistic care, which is a totally different field, actually. So I hope that I have answered to your question, Ma.
Yes, thanks. It does, and I can't agree with you more. It will be proven in years to come, definitely. I'm not too long, I hope. Fingers crossed.
It's okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Deborah, I think you were trying to say something a minute ago.
Well, no, I just have so much going through my head. I don't know if science will ever prove this in our lifetime. I think we need to go to this with an open heart. And I communicate with these beings through shamanic practices. So really the only way they could be is in the water, to be in that element, right? Their vibration is so high that it's almost like water is the only element that would carry them. So everything that everyone is saying, my truth cord is just bouncing off the walls right now. And Pierre, you are such a beacon of light. You have been chosen by them to bring this truth and this heart-centered feeling to the other people. So maybe we just open our hearts to what these beings are trying to share with us and just communicate with them heart to heart and let the science catch up when it catches up. It will catch up. It's always behind, right? So I don't know how we are going to do their trials, because to do that, we'd have to go into their world. And I don't know if us human beings can spend that much time in their world yet or go that deep. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just want to say thank you for bringing them to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, I'm just the messenger, and I'm very lucky. I know I'm very lucky. I feel lucky to, and it's really making me happy to spend so many time in the water with orcas in close encounter. This is the reason why, you know, it's not easy to put people in close encounter with orcas, because it depends on many different factors, such as the weather and also the mood of orcas. We cannot control them. They are not in captivity, and it's something I refuse. And most of the time, they don't want to share this moment, and we have to respect this and wait until they can. So this is the reason why I have this idea. I had this idea to isolate the sounds I want to share with the people, because I think it's the healing frequencies, and to immerse people. Yes, the best is in the water, because the sound doesn't propagate in the same, let's say, power in the water, in the air. This is something which is very difficult for us to understand, because we are land-based beings. But for orcas that have been crossing evolution since millions of years in the water, of course, it's so easy and so natural for them. And the last thing is that we hear a part of the sound that they are producing, but we have to understand that there is infrasounds or ultrasounds, a wide range of frequencies. We cannot even hear the sound. This, we have no idea that it's already here, but we are in the sound anyway. So there is a lot of things we cannot access. And what is, or I saw a question just here asking, do you think that the artificial intelligence will help us to understand the language of orcas? And I say it has to be, because our brain is limiting our intelligence. We are limited by our brains, and it's kind of strange and weird to say that humans have a limited brain. But if you compare the human brain and the orca brain, you understand that we are limited by our brain, for sure. So I hope, sure, that one day artificial intelligence will help us to communicate with cetaceans. The sooner will be the better.
Yeah. Brandy, it says I can't unmute you, but
That's because I muted myself. But Pierre, thank you so much. This is like music to my heart, especially when you were talking about, you know, in today's world, it's all about, let's give you this medication for this, let's give you this pill for that. And Western medicine wants to treat symptoms. They don't want to address the cause. And prophylactically, what you're talking about by going in and getting ourselves to that higher frequency. I mean, just like Deb had said before, everything has a frequency. We're hardwired to seek something out that gets us up to our optimal frequency, because that way we feel better, we sleep better. And this is just awesome. It's awesome. Because I'm woo-woo like that, and that knows. so, as soon as I sat down and you started talking, I'm like, oh, he's preaching to the choir. So thank you so much. I'm just really excited.
Thank you very much.
This is coming.
Thank you.
Awesome. Let's see. Who have we not heard from? Christina.
Well, yeah, you are definitely preaching to the choir, because I totally believe that all cetaceans have powers, maybe, like, I'll just say it, magical powers. And And I believe that they heal everything, not just humans, but they're extremely important, and we need to make sure that we take care of them. And you were talking about the southern residents, and we have a lot more to lose than just the knowledge. I mean, that it's like we just can't have that anyways. But I really appreciate what you're doing, because I think that people are starting to evolve and feel that, and raise their frequencies. I mean, I really see that in the world today. So you're right on target, and I think it's awesome. And I'm just,
Wow.
yeah, it gives me goosebumps. So, and it's hot.
Wow.
So I really appreciate it.
Guys, I was supposed to come back in British Columbia this 2024, and this is a project that I will postpone for 2025. The reason why I want to come back in British Columbia is to visit again Vancouver Island, where I had a great connection my last trip there with the Mowachat Muchalat First Nation in Nika Sound, and I want to go back there because of the story of the orca called Luna, because they had a special story. And I would like also to spend some days in the Luni Island, to meet the Illumination, specifically to understand more the connection, the spiritual connection between the orcas and the First Nation there, because they are very connected with the orcas. So I will probably be back to you guys when this project will become for sure. If you are in this place, I will probably visit you, and then I will be the one who will ask you questions about this connection, because you know much more than me about that. And this is something I want to understand: how these First Nations are so connected with the orca.
Awesome. You are awesome.
Oh, I'm curious. I'm super curious. No, I really need to understand these things, because spirituality is a thing that the science doesn't speak about, and I think it is very important actually. Human being without spirituality is even not just an animal, it's nothing. We need a spirituality, and this spiritual connection has proven by the fact that it can be something very important. So bring you happiness or wellness, or and it's being in balance with the environment, with the country, with the people around. So this is the real connection, the spirit connection. So this is something I want to understand, because I know that science will never give me the real answer about that, and it will help me also the understanding of the orcas, because orcas, I'm sure, are very spiritual creatures.
Ken Balcom said, Howard's brother, Ken Balcom said something that was really powerful. And he said, we're in need of a spiritual push. And I think it really has gone there more recently. And I do believe that, that was all through Toki. Um, a lot of it was through Toki, and because other orcas have communicated as well. But there seems to be this, push, and I think it's because of her family. It's the southern residents, and Pierre, just my heart. I reached out to Pierre after Toki passed, and asked him to come back on the show, and he couldn't yet because he was in the impact of her passing, and he's in France, and so there's just this connection and this communication with all these people. And with you, Pierre, like Ma said, you were chosen, or I think somebody said that, Deborah, maybe, like you were chosen for this by the orcas. And it's not so far-fetched, because we've all had these experiences. And so, when Toki passed, and we talk about this often, her family gathered in front of the lighthouse, in front of the live stream. And we talk about how all those miles apart, she's in Miami and they're there on San Juan Island, making it known to all the humans that we're here gathering. We know what is happening. And is it bold to say that? Maybe, but we know better, right? And so they're sitting there in front of the camera gathering, doing, and Howard can explain this much better than I can, but behaviors that are not commonly seen. And it was like everyone knew something was going on, but we didn't know that, you know, she was really, really sick that day before. But they did. And it's like they were communicating that, like, I don't know that they were trying to tell us what was happening over there. I think they're trying to tell us that they knew what was happening over there. You know what I mean? They want us to know that they know what is occurring with their family member all those miles apart. And, you know, to be able to touch the hearts of all these people who are doing anti-captivity, you know, advocacy like you as well, you know, that it's like they're just giving us this message to share with them, you know, and we are important. They are important. And so I just want to, you know, thank you, Pierre, for bringing this up and for being connected and for being connected to all of us through Toki, like so many people are, and for the fight that you do for, you know, anti-captivity. And you know what's going on there in France. They still have the 2 orcas there. I don't know. Is there anything you want to say about that?
Uh, yeah, it's sad because I don't see any good solution for these 2 orcas. And yeah, what you was saying, what you were saying about these people is exactly the reason why I want to meet them and why I want to feel this connection, because it's for real, for sure.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm still struggling with this idea that I've been chosen by orcas. My mind doesn't react to this. You know, it's not something that I don't even see, because for me, when I'm swimming with orcas, it's just like I'm not proud about that because it's like breathing. Actually, it's this is the place where I feel the best. So when I'm outside the water and I have to share and to speak about that, it's not always easy for me, and I'm not very good. Sorry for that in advance. But I'm not super, you know, charismatic or things like this to speak about myself. It's not the most important. The messenger is not the most important. The most important is the message.
Message. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for saying that, Pierre. Howard, were you saying something?
Well, yeah, there's so much I want to say about that, about all that you've said. And I think it's wonderful that you're going out to talk to and meet with the Muchalat people and to get a sense of their understanding of, I think Kakawin is their word for orca. We have, of course, been learning from Raynell Morris Sk'aliCh'elh for a couple of years and learned so much, and from Rosie Caillou and from Doug James and from so many other tribal people who have introduced us to their way of feeling, thinking, and seeing orcas. And it has transformed me, but especially that day, August 17, the behavior that I witnessed through the webcam, but live as it happened, was a complete mystery to me. I was shaking my head and wondering what is going on. I have never seen orcas behave like that before, and it went on for about 3 hours in the same place, and that's just so unusual for them to stay in the same place for so long and behave so strangely. And then the next day I found out that Toki was in her last hours at that time, and
Oh.
and then it started to come clear to me, and it changed me forever to see that there had to be some kind of connection there, that even though we couldn't see, I could see how it was affecting her family. And I mean, I'm still shaking my head and wondering, how does that possibly happen? But I saw it happen. And of course, it's not the only example of orcas having an uncanny awareness of uh, of events, human events that have to do with them. I mean, this was between them. This was, I mean, the only human intervention was that Toki was confined in Miami. But there have been events that are, about orcas, but they're human events, and orcas have attended, have come in and actually, stayed and been a part of events. I could tell some examples, but they've all been very mysterious. And how would they know? How would they be able to tap into our brainwaves, our perceptions, to be able to respond to them, to what when we are intensely, thinking and experiencing orcas. It seems that they're able to know that, they're able to feel that, and to respond, and so that is an ability that they have evolved over the millions of years, that they are able to communicate with each other far beyond the sounds that we know. And that's one way, and that's maybe it's a convenient way, maybe it's useful obviously for them because they do it, but I don't think it's the only way. They are in touch with each other in ways that are invisible to us. And it's just fascinating to be able to talk about that with other people who don't just say, what, but are able to, sort of share their own feelings and experiences about that. So anyway, I think you will be further transformed by orcas when you've had experience with the native people on Vancouver Island.
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes they are visiting our dreams. Sometimes.
Yeah. Deb Cruz, anything you'd like to add? You're on mute.
No, I'm going to have to go back over and relisten. Listen. You have receptors all through your body. Listen not only with your ears, but with the rest of you as well.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Thanks, Deb Cruz. Brandy?
I have to unmute myself. Howard, it's so interesting that you say that, because I know I was just in Canada at the beginning of June, and we were out, and the T-36s, the transients, the T-36 and the T-46s were there. And I was asking the naturalist on board with us, when they hunted, how do they communicate? She goes, well, that's the amazing thing. A lot of the times when the transients are around, when you put the hydrophone, it's radio silence. It's radio silence. And I'm like, so they're communicating somehow. And and I'm like, then maybe it's telepathic. She goes, yeah, and so it's very interesting that you said that, because that's what I thought. There's other ways that they're, with those big, beautiful brains of theirs, that how Pierre said, when science says, well, if we can't prove it, it doesn't exist. Well, it does exist. We just need to prove it.
Right. That's field proofing it. I've wondered the same thing. They can cooperate so well, and sometimes when they're around seals or sea lions that they're hunting, some of them will leave, on the surface and go far, far away, while the others, sort of stay back and lurk underneath and wait for the seals and sea lions to feel, okay, coast is clear. And so they're, cooperating and communicating over great distances silently. There is no sound coming through any kind of hydrophone that we've devised. There may be, a wavelength that we are not able to, measure, but yeah, they're communicating somehow way beyond just the sounds.
Thanks. And, it goes back to what we were talking about last week, I think, or the week before, about the emotion, right? Being able to, they can put an emotion in you and have you feel and see something that's not your own. Imagine what they're doing with each other. just imagine what they're doing with each other. Ma?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I believe that when science and spirituality come together, then we'll know. And it goes hand in hand together. And if you look at it like that, then it's proof, in my opinion.
Pierre, Marcia's asking again. I don't think she heard your answer earlier, just about your thoughts about AI being helpful with interspecies communication.
I think that this is the only way we can communicate with cetaceans is using the artificial intelligence, because we have limits, and the limits are our brain. Brain doesn't have the capability to understand this language. It's too complex, too much for us. It's I would make an image, if you want, is if you have a dog can learn maybe 20, 25 words. The dog can understand sit down, stand up, give the paw, stuff like that. And but when you are speaking with humans, each other, the dog cannot understand what we are saying. He knows we are speaking. He cannot understand what we are saying, because the brain of a dog doesn't have the capability to understand the complexity of the human language. I think it's the same level above with orcas and whales. We cannot just understand their language because the tool is not performant enough. So artificial intelligence will help us to communicate with the cetaceans, for sure. It has to be.
Awesome. Thanks, Pierre. It's always fascinating. I looked up at the time and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're past the hour. We always do that with you. We should just schedule a 2-hour next time we get you on. I can't believe it's been almost a year. I know someone's got to go to bed. It's very dark over there. But thanks so much for being with us. And again,
thank you, Annette. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all of you guys. And when it will be time to plan to schedule this trip in Washington, or in the state, or in British Columbia, I will contact you to connect you and to see if I can have some information.
That'll be great. Howard, and check with you to see if you want to close out anything.
No, just looking forward to your visit, Pierre. Come by anytime.
Thank you so much, Howard. That would be a great honor for me.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and close this. I'm just going to share one of Pierre's many, many videos of him swimming with the orcas, and we'll close out that way. Love you guys, and we'll see you next week. Yeah, let me add this here. Me and my button pressing, it takes me a minute.